Well guys, welcome to the Djebel awning. This one is what we got because before we had this awning, we used to have a little leftover from the tent, bottom part of the tent from our tent co, which basically slotted into a U-rail bolted on the side of the roof rack. And as we send our stuntman in to show you how this thing gets set up, we'll tell you that I was getting a bit tired of that. It didn't take up much space. It was very low key because the awning itself would stow in the car, but you needed a couple of tent poles and it needed to have at least three guy ropes to keep the tension on it. So I thought, okay, I've had enough of that. Let's replace our tent and at the same time get the same make brand Djebel Extreme, do our awning. So here we're going to try and roll it out, set it up, and then take it down again just now. The angle of this shot is just a little bit off, but hey, I think we can get the point here, and it'll get better later anyway. So here we just pull out the legs, extend them a little bit, at least 1.5 meters, so that when you flip that over, you got a bit of height on you, because it keeps the side tensioning poles at a certain height, which is pretty cool. So put the one in there. It's just basically a very thin little pin like the top of a tent pole. It slides into a very small little hole in the front channel. You basically hook it in there and then you have to just tension it all up, which I'm going to do now, and just make sure everything is kind of stable. So that's the nice thing, it doesn't need any guy ropes, it kind of stands up by itself. Just give it a bit level there. That looks pretty tight to me. Yeah, you can adjust the height, which is pretty easy. The poles are not exactly 100% very rigid, but I suppose we're going for something to do with the weight versus strength here as well. On each corner there's a little rope here. You can put a guy rope through that. These little square things, you'll see later how well they work. This front channel is pretty good. It's aluminium, of course, and here you can see how the side poles slot in there. There's a couple of velcros there and a little flap that folds over the edge. Velcro is pretty good, kind of works, keeps everything nice and tensioned. Here you can see the bolts on the end. That's quite a nice little molding there for both sides, and so far it's held up pretty well, despite the fact that you try and bend it a little bit to adjust the height every time you do that. A couple of clips here keeps everything in place. And yeah, the fittings are pretty good. I think the bolts and nuts are quite good. There's another one of those tensioning things. And basically you can fit a whole tent around this. It becomes a tent if you like it, if you get some sidewalls as well. So there it is. It looks pretty smart, I would say. It's not a bad deal, I would think. Basically, I think it was 200 or 300 euros as it is. It's quite a slimline little bag that it fits to on the roof rack as well. So there it is for the setup. Now a stuntman goes back in and he's going to do the takedown for you guys, and this gets a little bit messy, a little bit amateurish, but we're not all professionals out there. And let's see how we get on, and we're going to leave this in here because this is basically how it goes for everyone. And the fault is basically the front poles that that little square rubber section that you saw. It's kind of lost its tightness in the groove of that front section. So as you lift up the pole, it should slide in there and stay there. I'm just holding it at the moment as I hold the whole thing up and try and reduce the length of that so they both fit in, and then one gets away from me there. And then we have to pull it out from the other side. Flips away again. I'm sure you've all been in this position. Now that both of the side poles are out, at least we can clip it in as good as possible. Another one gets away. It's a little bit fiddly at this point, so let's just keep it to ourselves and carry on. And we finally get a bit of a movement here. It rolls up pretty well. You can do this alone, as we were demonstrating here as well. Just check the ends. Of course, there's little flaps that fit over the edge, that they keep rolling up nice and squarely. It's not too heavy either. You can lift it quite nicely, just a one-person kind of job. The top cover is doesn't zip up all the way on the sides, which is a good thing for the rain ingress. So you just need to flip those over the edge, and you first need to pull the two poles in before you can clip the tent itself, or the front cover, the awning, before you can clip that in itself. So while we just do that a little bit, at least we've reduced the length of the side poles, so they just clip straight in there. Once they're in, you've got the middle clip that in, and now we're safe. Now the thing will stay there. Now we just do the other sides and zip it all up. As I said, this thing can be turned into a tent if you like. It's not very heavy, it's quite slimline. I do like the finishing. The little bag cover black is not very obtrusive, it's quite slimline, and it kind of folds up all quite neatly, and it's not too bad, I've got to say. So let's have a quick look at the finishings again, which is quite cool. These corner brackets, all the hinges are made of metal, not plastic, which is pretty good. The ends are finished off nicely with some plastic end caps, and this seam here is like a U-channel, which is probably for the side that you can make it into a tent with. It looks pretty good, I've got to say. It looks nice and neat. This is the big one, obviously 2.5 by 2.5 deep. You can also get one that's a little bit shallower. Because it's 2.5, there is a seam which has been taped and stitched, I think. So I don't think that's gonna leak either. There you go. Well done, dude. See you on the next one. Keep rolling.